Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be talking about Jannah's sleep routine and how I got Jannah to sleep through the night. I know. And as a disclaimer before I start, I just want to say, you know, this is just something that I tried and it personally worked for me. So if it's something that could help someone else and if it could work for you guys, then I'm definitely going to share my experience. But saying that, please don't be hard on yourself or think that you're doing something wrong or there's something wrong with your baby, because there isn't. Every child is different and not everyone will have a routine like I did for Jannah, because it's just not practical for everyone, which is understandable. So before I start the video, I just want to say that if you are new here, my name's Alia and I have a daughter who is 1.5 now. So we are in Jannah's room at the moment and I wanted to show you guys the layout of the room and where I put everything, but I kind of just wanted to show you what's actually in the room and what has helped her sleep really well through the night. First thing that I'm going to start off with is this godsend of a product. It's a white noise machine. With this one, it continues through the whole night. You don't want to get one that stops midway, because if you imagine... Jannah, please, shh. A little quiet, please. Okay, I can't do this with her here. Let me just take her away. Oh, I love you. No! With the night, what? Get your words together. With the white noise machine, I actually seen a video on taking care of babies. That is the Instagram handle. It was a really good video actually. So there was like a baby lying in the cot and there was a white noise machine that turned off automatically and the baby woke up straight away. So if you can imagine yourself like you're around noise or you're around something that is continuous and all of a sudden it drops and there's just silence, you would wake up too, right? But it's exactly the same way for babies. That's why I have it on all night and it just continues. Also different settings on here. So there's the fan and then that's the white noise, trees, birds, yeah, bit of nature, water, but that makes me want to wee. Oh, now this is my favorite. Like, I love when it rains. So this, I mean, I would take this to my room any day. Heartbeat. Now, the heartbeat is really important, but when the babies are in your womb, they actually are so soothed and comforted by your heartbeat. So this and a little swaddle will make them feel right at home. Let's turn that off. So yeah, I keep that up here. And then next to it, I've got Jannah's lollipop camera, because it just alerts me whenever she's crying. And if she is crying loud, it also says that on my phone, which is really, really good. Those two things that are up there. I don't have it with me, but she's got a baby Mori sleeping bag. And I think it's from birth until 24 months. If I'm not mistaken, I'll have to double check. It was quite pricey. I think it was about £60. But it's completely worth it because, for example, my sister's bought my niece a sleeping bag, but she's had to buy 2 because she's grown out of it. So essentially it works out the same price. I also want to mention, you know, some of these things that I do have. At the beginning, I did have a few people say, oh, they're going to get addicted to it. They're going to get addicted to sleeping in just dark and not sleeping throughout the day, which is a lie. Also, the benefits of having a noise machine is if you are a small family and there's not a lot of noise in your house, like it was just literally me and Shah in the house and our area is really quiet as well. If she heard even a creak, it was like, and it would wake her up. Like if you want to do the Hoover downstairs or if you want to have a karaoke night, I don't know what. I have karaoke nights by myself and not worry about the noise going upstairs. Lastly, I just want to speak about the blackout. The size of it is so good. So I actually cut mine into 2 if I need to go, you know, to London for a few days or if I'm going to see my cousin, I take that with me. So it has these little suction cups that you just pop onto the window. They don't come off. Like mine have been on since Jannah has been born. The only time I take them off is if I need to clean the window. But other than that, they stay on. They don't just come off or fall off, which is one thing that you don't need to worry about. I just want to show you how spacious they are. By the way, this is the one that I cut. So There's still so much left. You can just cut it and adjust it to your window size. This is Jannah's room. It's not that tidy, I need to clean it. Because she's over 1 now, I don't like to leave the pillow sort of over just in case. So what I've done is I've tucked it under her actual cover. So the pillow's just here, I don't know if you can see. So I've just plumped it up here. So it just raises her head a little bit, especially if she does have a cold. Okay, so now for Jannah's routine. So I'm going to be talking through sort of the beginning of when I started to implement this. I just realised that I talk with my hands. Like, yeah, okay, I need to relax. After I gave birth, I don't think people understand how hard it is to not sleep. Like, how hard it is to just live your life and do whatever and sleep until 1 p.m, wake up whenever you want, to literally being awake all night. But when you have such a traumatic labour and you literally get no sleep, and on top of that you're breastfeeding and baby is literally awake on you all night, it is just draining, and it drained the life out of me. I just got to a point where I was so desperate to find something that works that will help her sleep. I'm going to talk about after I gave birth. So I actually had forceps delivery, and then on top of that I did get a blood infusion because I lost a lot of blood. So you can imagine how weak I was feeling. And anyway, fast forward to 3 days after, because I was getting no sleep, no lie, I thought I could see a jinn. Like, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm not even going to say that because I'm just scaring myself now. But I remember laying there and I literally was getting no sleep, and I shut my eyes for 5 minutes. Jannah was crying, I shut my eyes and I fell into like a bit of a deep nap for 5 minutes. And it's like as if my body could not move. Like, you know when you go into, what's that dream where you can't move your body? Dream when you can't move. Okay, so I literally had sleep paralysis. I think it was the first 3 nights of when Jannah came home, and I think it was just due to lack of sleep. I could hear noises, I was hallucinating. And when she was born, you know, I think it was day 3, it really hit me, and that's when I thought to myself that I can't do this. And I just felt like I wasn't good enough to be a mother to her. And it's so selfish to say this, but I was just thinking about my life previously and how like I could just, I know it sounds so stupid, but I could just sit there and watch Netflix and fall asleep when I want. And I was literally crying about that, and I remember keeping it bottled in for so long. It was actually day 3 where I cried to Shah because I was just trying to keep it strong for everyone around me and just make it seem like as if, okay, I've got this, I'm fine. And people were talking about postnatal depression. I was so scared of falling into that I completely was just shutting off how I feel. I just remember breaking down, crying my eyes out, and I just texted my friend. I just said, I can't do this, like I feel like I'm not capable of being a mother. I remember one of my followers saying something to me and it really hit home, and this is something that I want you guys to take on board too, especially if you are a new mum. Not even a new mum, but if this is, I don't know, your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th baby, and it just feels all new and surreal again. There are literally thousands of lights on at the same time. Like, you're awake at 3 a.m, another mother that is awake at the same time. So you're not the only one going through it, and just take everything day by day. Like, take each day as it is. Don't worry about tomorrow. Forget about yesterday. Just live for now and worry about tomorrow when it comes. And I don't know why that just, even though it's such basic advice, it just hit. A switch just came on in my brain and I thought, okay, I can do this. And I took it day by day, and I kept reassuring myself and making myself aware that it wasn't just me going through this. Like, people give birth every other day. It's not just me, and it's not just me with these feelings, because I had so many of you guys say how you felt, you know, exactly the same way when you had your babies. So that was really comforting to me to know that, you know, there were other people going through the same thing as me and I didn't feel alone in this. I hope I don't look back at this video and I'm just sat like a hunchback. It's such a bad habit. I need to start sitting straight. With saying that, if you have a friend, a family member, if you don't have anyone to speak to, my DMs are always open. You know, it's so important to speak to someone about how you're feeling. And always remember, better days ahead. Like, this is just the beginning. It's just the newborn stage. Believe that you can do it, because you can. Because you are the best mother to your baby, obviously. So yeah, that's when I kind of felt myself going into, I wouldn't call it postnatal depression because I can't speak on behalf of something that I've not been through. But let's just call it baby blues. I definitely had a bit of baby blues during the beginning. Jannah was actually a breastfed baby. And can I just say, that is a whole other world of its own. No one talks about the difficulties of breastfeeding. No one even mentions it. Like, you just think breastfeeding is just getting your boob out and, you know, milk's gonna come out and baby's gonna be happy. No, there's just so much to breastfeeding that people don't talk about. And I will definitely do a separate video because it honestly, like, that is a topic of its own. And I could go on and on and on about breastfeeding. The reason why I wanted to implement a routine is because I need sleep. Let's be honest, I need my sleep. So I just said, look, she is not ready yet, obviously. So when she hit 4 months, she went through a sleep regression. Most babies do. I think it's 4 and 8 months. So I thought, okay, I won't start the routine now, but I will let her nap in her own cot from 4 months. Until then, she was co-sleeping with me because I was breastfeeding. It was just an easier option for me. Not everyone likes the fact that people co-sleep with their babies, but I did. Shah was actually sleeping separately, so we were in a completely separate bed just because I felt like it was safer for us, and I need the room, I need the sleep, and I don't need the snoring. So that was that. When she was going through her 4 months sleep regression, I started to give her naps in her own cot because my plan had always been that she would sleep in her own room, not with us, from 5 to 6 months. Well, I started her at 5 months. Just because I just thought I don't want to bring her into a habit where she knows that we're always there with her in the night, and she needs to get used to sleeping on her own and self-soothing and knowing that, you know, if she needs us ever, we'll always be there to come into the room and give her whatever she needs. I remember getting to a point where I was so sleep deprived. I was Googling everything. I was searching if I could pay someone to tell me what to do. And then I came across an Instagram account called Taking Care of Babies. She is amazing at what she does, and the advice that she gives, honestly, I can't recommend her enough, guys. I was this close to buying the course until I came across her stories about sleep routine, and I was going through them, and then a little timetable came up of a wake window. She was emphasizing this so much in her videos, so I thought, okay, this is clearly important. This is something that I need to research about. So I googled it. So many mums have sworn by this. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna give it a go. When Jannah turned 5 months, that was it. Like, we were on routine. We're gonna start with her naps. So the wake window, I'm going to basically put a picture up here, so make sure you screenshot. The wake window actually starts from 4 to 12 months, but I felt like that was too early to get her onto like a little routine. So I started, like I said, from 5 to 6 months. When you are looking at the table, it says 5 to 6 months, and then it says 2.5 to 3 hours. These are average wake windows based on age. But because she was 5 months, she would be awake for 2.5 hours, then she'd have a nap. She never took a dummy, she just always used her thumb. So I noticed that when she was 3 months, she would suck her thumb a lot. And I thought, okay, I guess that's a way of her kind of soothing herself. And actually, I was in the room once where she woke up, she looked around, and she put her thumb in her mouth and she fell back asleep. And I thought, oh my God, like, she's just learned how to self-soothe. Now, this is what you do for the naps and for the bedtime. So I put her down, and this took about a week to 2 weeks. So please be patient with this. Don't give in. I promise you it will work. Put her down in her cot, and if she'd cry, I would literally set a timer on my phone, and I would stand outside the door or sit outside and just be on my phone until the timer ended. The first timer would go on for 5 minutes. She's still crying after the 5 minutes. I'd go back in, I'd hold her and I'd say, Mummy's here, it's okay, Mummy's here. And I know they might not understand what you're saying, but I guess it's soothing for them to hear your voice. And eventually they will understand what you're saying by the time they're 1 and 2. So I'd do that, I'd rock her, put her back down, and I'd walk back out. She'd cry again. So the timer would then go up to 10 minutes. So 10 minutes, I'd wait. If she's still crying, go back in, 15 minutes. So you keep doing that until they've learnt that you are still there. And if they ever need you, you're going to come back to them into the room. And that is the whole, you know, purpose of this sort of routine. It actually has a name. So you know how you have the cry out method? I didn't like that at all. I've never tried it with Jannah just because I think it's so evil. I really preferred this way better because I just think it's a way of showing them that, okay, no matter what, I'm going to always be here and I'll always come back. But you can do this. You can sleep. I know you can. Okay. So I'm just way outside. I kept doing that, and then eventually she realised, okay, my mum is outside. If I ever need her, she'll come back. She fell asleep. Hallelujah. That was the day where we celebrated. Listen, we celebrated hard. So once you do that with the naps, you do that at bedtime as well. Sometimes they wake up early, so you put them down for a nap and you won't hear nothing for 10 minutes and then they'll wake up crying. Leave them. Just trust me, leave them. They will fall back asleep. So Jannah used to do that a lot. She'd fall asleep for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and then she'd wake up crying. And then I just thought, oh, she's awake now. But again, I was just following everything that this woman was saying on Instagram. And I thought, okay, I'm just going to go with it and just see if it works. And it worked. I left her and she fell back asleep. So that was actually self-soothing. That was when she learned how to self-soothe. When she woke up and then she could fall back asleep again with no help from me. That is the most important part of the process, to sort of let them, you know, try and get themselves back to sleep. If you're not comfortable with leaving them to cry for 10 minutes, then just keep it to 5. It's obviously your own preference, it's your baby, and whatever works for you. Day by day, her naps were getting amazing. Like, she was taking 1 hour to 2 hour naps. She'd have 2 naps a day. She'd have a first nap at 10:30, and then again I'd let 3 hours go by, and then she'd have another nap about, I think it was 4 until 5, and then her bedtime would always be 7 or 7:30. Her bath time would always be every other day, and it still is now. It's never every day, it's always every other day. But I've got Jannah's 4 months routine, so this is when I started to implement the routine. The only thing that's changed for now is we've just dropped her second nap because she started to go nursery, and I just can't keep up with the second nap anymore because we're always out and it's just a hassle trying to get back home in time to give her a nap. And to be honest, she's not fussed about it at all. That's when I realised, okay, she doesn't really need her second nap as much as she used to when she was younger. Their bodies are always growing and developing, so they will sleep longer throughout the night. And if they don't, again, you can just start to put those naps back in place if they're not getting a good night's sleep. So this was from 4 months onwards. So she'd wake up at 8:30 a.m, sometimes 8. Again, adjust this to your own timings if your babies are awake earlier, whatever works for you. But always keep in mind that the wake windows are key. Wake up at 8:30, she'd have milk, and then 3 hours would go by, or 2.5 hours, and she'd be in bed by 10:30/11 a.m. She'd be asleep for 1 hour or 2 hours, sometimes if she's really tired. And then she'd wake up, have dinner, we'd go out, and 3 hours would go by. So I'd take her to mum's house, I don't know, go grocery shopping, whatever I needed to do. It was actually lockdown at the time, so we weren't doing anything. So I was just taking her for walks around the block. I just want to make clear again that wake windows are really important for naps. So if they aren't getting enough naps in the day, their nighttime routine will be disturbed. You can just keep them busy for 3 hours, but please just make sure that they do not fall asleep in the car or have like these 5-10 minutes nap, because it does really disrupt their nap time if you are planning on giving that to them. Make sure that I completely stuck to schedule and in routine. I don't care if I was seeing family, like if I needed to go, I was like, I need to go, she needs to have a nap. So after that, sorry, I keep going off track. And then it would be bedtime at 7:30. So she'd have milk, And that's when I started to sort of implement formula. It was from, I think it was 6 months onwards, I started to give her top up formula just before she went to bed, because I realised she was waking up hungry in the night again. So this would keep her belly full and she wouldn't wake up. Again, each to their own, whatever works for you. If you want to carry on just fully breastfeeding, you do that. If you want to top them up with breast milk instead of formula, then you could go ahead and do that before they go to sleep. This is extra of me, like you don't have to do this, and to be honest I kind of regret it because I've gotten into a habit now. But I always used to go in her room at 12 to give her her last feed of the night, just to make sure that she wasn't too hungry, and then I'd just leave her and she would be asleep the whole night. So that's completely up to you if you want to change that to 11:30 instead, or 11, whatever works for you. I used to go bed late because that was the time I could just catch up on my socials and just catch up with you guys. So I kind of stayed up the whole night, which was stupid of me. But I guess like as mums, that is the only sort of time, free time that we get, and we kind of just make the most of it. Nothing had actually changed, so it would always be, you know, wake up, nap 1, nap 2, bed, and obviously the in-betweens. Like I said, the wake windows were really essential, because if you put them to sleep before the wake window, they go to sleep too early, they're not tired, and they're just going to create a fuss. Or if you put them to sleep way too late, like 5 hours late, they get overstimulated and they will not sleep, and it will be a nightmare. Trust me, I've learned the hard way. Just keeping in schedule of the naps, I have learned personally that that has completely changed the way that she slept during the night. Now I want to move on to bedtime. So again, bedtime was kind of the same routine. I'd put her to bed 7:30, she'd literally be knocked out until 12, and then I'd wake her up for her last milk, and then she'd be asleep the whole night. And if there were days where she'd wake up because she was teething, I'd obviously go to her, I'd rock her, hold her for a little bit, put her back down, and it was the same routine of her crying for 5 minutes, put a timer on, 10 minutes, put a timer on, and then eventually she'd fall back asleep. It's not all of a sudden, you know, it will stop and she'll be sleeping, she or he will be sleeping throughout the night. It doesn't work like that. You know, there'll be days where they do need you. Not every night will be perfect, but most nights you will have a good sleep. If you guys have tried this out, or if you're thinking about it, or if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to leave me a comment or DM me on Instagram. This is just something that works for me. And you know, even now she's 1.5 and her teeth came really late. But I do know that Ambicel, if you get it from the pharmacy, it's like a little jar, it's like a little oil that you rub on their gums. It's better than the powders and the gel and all of that. She didn't start teething until after 1, and again we had to start the whole routine again, where I had to literally put a timer on and just sit outside for 10 minutes, 15, 20, until she eventually just fell back asleep. And every time I'd put her down in the cot to sleep, she'd wake up screaming like so hysterically. But again, that's completely normal. I just left her to it for 5 minutes, went back in, cuddled her, and then eventually she realised, okay, she's outside. If I need her, she's gonna come to me. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'm so sorry if it was rushed or a bit all over the place. This is the second time of me trying to record this, so I just pray that this time it comes out perfect for you guys. And if there's anything that I've missed out, or there's anything that you want to know, please don't hesitate to leave a comment. I'm more than happy to answer any questions. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. This is my second video now, so I promise to try and keep on top of these YouTube videos. So please make sure you know, you do subscribe. On Instagram, basically, let me just quickly tell you, I was shadow banned for weeks and weeks, so it's really had an impact on my views and interaction, and majority of my followers can't see my posts or anything, which is really annoying. So I'm really trying to make a conscious effort in trying to reconnect with you guys, and you know, making these videos for you. So let me know if they do help and what else you want to see. Thank you so much for watching.